Welcome to the Raise Your Energy podcast. In last week's episode, number 24, we discovered what burnout is and how you can identify if you are burned out or not. I shared my story of being diagnosed with burnout last year and how the burnout showed up in my life. In today's episode, we are looking closer at the consequences of living with burnout. If you want to find out what burnout does to your physical, mental, and emotional health, then stay tuned. Burnout is, unfortunately, a very real thing, and so common nowadays. And the sad thing is that it does not only make you feel chronically stressed at work, but it can spill over to your personal life too, making you feel too exhausted or unmotivated to deal with things outside of work or even enjoy your time away from work. That was my experience too. I was not enjoying my work anymore. But at the same time, these feelings of frustration, exhaustion, and overwhelm swapped over into my private life too. I had huge issues switching off my thinking brain and my drive to keep taking care of things. At that point, I was not yet experienced or serious enough with my meditation practice, which would have helped me to quieten my mind. It just kept going and going day and night and kept me awake for hours a few nights per week. You might be asking yourself, well, if I'm stressed at work sometimes, does that mean I'm burned out? To quote Erica Zellner, a health coach, you can't have burnout without stress, but you can have stress without burnout. And Dr. Amy Serbus, a manager of clinical quality at Talkspace, says, both burnout and stress feel the same at the moment. However, burnout is a result of stress that has built up over time. It's chronic stress that hasn't been managed effectively. Stress can come and go depending on the day. Burnout is constant. Someone experiencing burnout doesn't have days of productivity and joy in between tough days. It's a constant feeling of numbness and frustration. Burnout isn't just a small thing that people need to figure out how to get over. It is a difficult and impactful reality that can lead to many negative consequences in all areas of your life. People dealing with burnout symptoms and job stress feel the consequences in their physical, their mental, and their emotional health. Physical health issues could be that the stress levels get far too high for the given situation. You might feel constantly tired and exhausted. And burnout has been shown to increase the likelihood of heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, and more. I thankfully did not show any acute health issues, but I did feel constantly tired and exhausted. My body was out of balance and most of the time in a state of stress and worry. And because I felt emotionally and mentally not well, I did not look after myself. I did not exercise regularly and ate unhealthy food and drank too much wine to numb the emotions and my ever-chatting brain. I did not like to be in silence with myself or deal with my emotions. I shied away from doing journaling or self-coaching exercises because I did not want to go there. Mentally, I was not coping well either. You know these everyday things that happen and you just deal with them? Each one of these could set me off and make me feel like a disaster happened. So to say, my fuse was very short, and my mind went to the worst case scenario automatically. If you're burnt out, you might have similar mental health issues like anger, irritability, or even anxiety or depression. When it came to my emotional health, I often felt frustrated, annoyed, overwhelmed, helpless. I remember thinking many times that I should be able to get myself out of that funk. Yes, that's what I called it quite often. Being stuck in a funk. Like this is just a moody phase and somehow I just need to get myself out of it. I achieved so much in my life and my career. So why could I not deal with this? Why was I not able to turn my life around and be happier again? I often felt angry with myself, unable to just flip a switch and decide to be better from now on. I tried many times to change certain things in my life in a way to get over these feelings, but it never helped. It was like a band-aid on a really deep wound. All these little interventions never fixed it. And of course, I never accepted to take the foot off the gas in my career and my working hours. That was never up for discussion. So whatever I tried, I always slipped back into how I felt before. And every time I failed, I even felt angrier with myself. Because I did not want to look inside of me, I kept finding the issues outside of me in the 3D world. I would get angry about my job, about the people not doing their job correctly, about my company, my boss, and so on. Do you feel like that sometimes? Or more even than sometimes? And what I was always good at was putting on a mask. To smile and to keep going. That's what I did until it all blew up. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. Always telling myself and others that I'm fine. I have worked so hard to get here, so I'm not gonna give up now, right? There will be a time again when it gets better or less stressful at work. Yeah, right. I was putting on a mask for everyone around me and myself. I thought it's best to just keep going and be a hero. This is just a stressful phase and next month or next year or in the next job it's going to get better. Sadly, it never did. Sadly, we create our burnout for ourselves. Yes, there are lots of outside influences that get us on the trajectory of getting burnout. All the overload of information, demands, job and family responsibilities, financial pressures, and many more. A society that has gotten us all to do more and more drives us to need to have careers, to have more money, to buy more, to have a particular job title, to be something more. And still, with all of that going on outside of us, not everyone is burnt out. That shows that there is a huge factor that we have to play in this. I know that I worked myself towards my burnout for most of my adult life. Always needing to go for the better job, the better company, the next higher salary. I thought that's what you're meant to do. That's what is going to make you happy. But the happiness never came. I kept thinking if I work even harder, if I take on more and more responsibility, then I will be happy. But that never came. No, what came was my burnout. Over 1 year later, I am glad that it finally happened. I finally went to the doctor and took the time off that I needed to get better. I am thankful that it did not take me even longer to get to that point and waste even more of my time, my energy, and my health on this hamster wheel. Now I talk about my diagnosis as the best thing that could have happened to me. That was the point I accepted it and allowed myself to get better. To change my life, to change my perspective on life, and to learn a different way of being in this world. It is possible. You can have a career, you can have success, and go for your goals and dreams and not be burnt out. I know that now, so I'm glad that one day I finally was brave enough and took the step of accepting it. I'm very passionate about this topic, given that I went through it myself. And as a coach, I want to help people to get better sooner, to accept the burnout, and to make the decision to heal. So if you know someone in your life that shows symptoms of burnout, please try to help them to seek help. If you are burnt out or you're wondering if you might be, please seek help. You will not regret it. I hope, like me, you're going to look back and you're grateful for having taken the step of acceptance. Even if the step at this moment in time seems too big, imagine what your life could look like and feel like if you could overcome this phase. Imagine the possibilities for happiness and health. I want to thank you for listening to this episode and my story. I'm sharing this so it can help the next person to overcome this phase in their lives. I want to help the next person to get better and bring more energy and joy back into their lives. So share this episode with anyone in your life that can benefit from it. And with that, I love you and leave you. Talk soon and bye-bye.